Hi, my name is Joshua Jones, and I'm going to be telling you about my experience at JA Finance Park. Going into the experience, our teacher, Miss Lesko, the best econ teacher I have ever had and ever will have, taught us a bunch about financial literacy, entrepreneurship, and so forth. And those topics were so heavily reinforced on us, and in a good way, that I genuinely didn't think the park was going to teach us anything new. Like, honestly. But I was extremely wrong about that, and I'm going to tell you why. Going into the park, they had these tablets and these volunteers who were all phenomenal. So the tablet gave us these online personas, and we had to use those and their budgets to essentially assemble the budget. So in school, you don't really feel the weight of the budget. You essentially just write it down, boom, boom, boom. Expenses paid. At the park, it felt like you actually had a weight on your shoulders and you had to allocate all the money correctly. And the feeling of satisfaction you do get from it was amazing. And it also taught you, like, hey, even if you don't allocate it correctly, you can always go back and fix it as long as you're committed to it. And that's exactly what happened, because one of my team members, we were split off into teams, didn't allocate his money correctly, but then he got the chance to go back and recorrect this, even though there was a bit of a struggle in the beginning. And that was something I did adore about the park. Another thing I adored about the park were the phenomenal freaking volunteers. All of them are great because they all had their unique thing they stuck with. Mine was just a car enthusiast. The guy knew everything about cars, and he wanted to teach us just how valuable they were and how valuable the insurance was. So after going through that experience with the budgeting in general, essentially changed my perception of the whole thing. Because even if you aren't good at it, you can at least assemble a budget that is good fit for you. Because you can always ask others, and they'll give you your opinion on it. And essentially, that's all that there is to it. They taught us budgeting, and they also taught us a funny little thing called entrepreneurship. The entrepreneurship part was taking place in the back on these screens, as to where they showed off of all of your interests as jobs. Because you could take a quiz back there that would determine like what jobs are fit for you. For me, I already know what job I wanted to go into, and that was just editing in general. Video editing actually paid well, and how profitable it was in the business also showed up and gave us hope. The entrepreneurship part was essentially assembling the business, how to keep it running, managing everything properly, and keeping everyone happy while doing so. And in an entrepreneurship, the main person you have to focus on is you, because if you can't focus on yourself during the entrepreneurship, and you're only focusing on all the other factors, then you're going to be left behind. And they taught us that perfectly. And that's something I really wanted to stress about the park, because the park was just so good at teaching everything they had to offer: financial literacy, entrepreneurship, and the other things. All of them were great. Going into it, they did change my perception of a few things. As my mother is an entrepreneur herself, she taught me some of the ropes, and going into the park taught me even more of the ropes. So going into it and after college, maybe I can pick up an entrepreneur due to the information I got from this park. And for that, I am extremely grateful. And I thank you for taking the time to watch this video, because, hey, the park was amazing. I'm so glad I went. And I'm so glad you took the time to watch this video. Thank you, and see you around.